Okay, this is the Blackbird Sims SR-71. This is the exact same version that the testers currently have, and that has been released to a few YouTubers as a preview. We're going to do a standard takeoff, and then because there's been some discussion over the slow speed handling below 300 knots, we're going to fail an engine and fly around on that one engine in the circuit. Engines both running, and fuel weight is just under 46,000 pounds. So by the time we are back in the circuit, we should be looking at speeds of 210 and then down to 185 on finals. Standard takeoff, rotate the nose at 170 knots, the aircraft will fly itself off at 210. You can raise the nose earlier, but it will lengthen the takeoff roll. Let's fail an engine. Right, essentially it's power. I'm good at speed swapping because our engine had a burner. We'll get a few warnings as we go here, I'll just cancel those off. Going 350. Then back round towards the airfield and then start bringing the speed down. Speed's dropped again, so the surface limiter can go back in. So we're now below 300 knots. It's important to bear in mind that I'm using a fair bit of rudder to keep this balanced with the one engine out. And I'm also having to use a bit of aileron to balance the rudder. So we're in a fairly draggy configuration here, right the way through. Angle of attack between 5 and 6 degrees is roughly where I'd expect to be at this sort of speed. We're 250 knots, descending. So bring the throttle back to idle. Bring the speed right back. The absolute limit on angle of attack is 14 degrees. There is a stick shaker before you get there. I will demonstrate that in a minute. There's 210. I'm going to put the aircraft into a steeper bank than I should at this speed. There you go, you can see the stick shaker going. So recover. The limits for angle of attack in the circuit: 9 degrees turning base, 8 degrees turning final. We're flying a lot slower than we should be, but still maintaining decently banked turn. So I put this into its probably one of the draggiest configurations you can find without having the gear down as well. Get there in a minute. Power on, keeping it in military power. It's at 210 knots, I can still maintain a fairly respectable climb rate with just one engine. Back up to the sort of angle of attack figures we should be looking at in terms within the circuit. It's important to say it's not a fighter, it doesn't handle like one. But as long as you respect its limits and fly within them, there are no issues at low speed. The other thing to bear in mind with a large delta, the elements across the entire trailing edge, is that on final approach, any movement before or after the stick creates a flat-like effect, adding or subtracting from the lift. So, unlike most aircraft, do not flare on the final approach. You let the ground effect arrest the rate of descent. And fly the aircraft onto the runway. Centre line. So I will take the aircraft gear into the stick shaker regime. think that shows that the SR-71 can be flown quite comfortably below 300 knots without falling out of the sky.